The whole family came to the photo studio to take a family portrait. Right after the shoot, the children called out to Grandma, asking the photographer to take one of her alone. Seeing their avoided glances, Grandma realized this was meant to be her memorial photo. But that night, she came back to the studio and asked John to take another photo. She wore a bright and beautiful outfit, took off her glasses and smiled into the lens. To her, death wasn't something heavy. She just wanted to leave behind her best self. Looking at her, John fell into deep thought, as if the photo wasn't for her, but for himself. Because not long ago, he had been diagnosed with cancer. The doctor told him he didn't have much time left, but he didn't take it too seriously. Just then, a girl walked into the shop. She asked John if he could rush her film processing, but John was sweating and exhausted, and didn't have the energy to respond. After cleaning himself up, he finally took a look at her negatives. When he looked up again, he saw the girl was still outside, pacing under the shade of a tree. John realized he might have been rude, so he bought 2 ice creams as a way to apologize. The two of them sat together and shared a quiet sweetness. But thinking of his illness, John didn't dare get too close. After that, the girls started coming by often. They slowly grew closer. Over time, Dylan would always drag her coworkers past the photo studio, but pretended to be asleep in the back seat, only to wave excitedly when they left. John couldn't help but smile. He started waiting for her on her way home from work, with snacks he'd picked out just for her. And day by day, they got closer. One day, Dylan said she wanted a picture of her own. In front of the camera, she pressed her lips together nervously, because John had mentioned her lips looked dry. She was afraid the photo wouldn't look good. She ran straight to the makeup store. Even though she'd never worn makeup, she practiced all night. The next morning, it was raining when she headed to work. From her car, she saw John standing by the road. She hopped out and ran to greet him with excitement.
오, 마리마.
여기서 뭐해요?
나 스쿠터볼 치려고. 야, 너 잘됐다. 나 사진관까지 좀 바래다 주라.
The rain was heavy, and her umbrella was small, so the two stood pressed closely together. They should have become a couple. Felt so natural, but they never crossed that line. No matter how clearly Dylan hinted at her feelings, John always dodged with a silly grin. She walked away in disappointment, but as she turned the corner and disappeared, John's heart ached just as much. He didn't know how to respond. He called his best friend and invited him out for drinks. He confessed he was dying. His friend didn't believe a word of it. John just laughed and begged him to stay and drink a little more. They kept drinking until John completely lost control. He went wild at the police station, then broke down, crying like a child in his friend's arms. So different from the way he usually acted. But once he sobered up, he understood if death was coming, then time mattered more than ever. So he gathered his friends and pulled them all into the studio to take one last photo. A photo proving he existed. No one showed sadness in the shot. It looked like just another ordinary picture.